Hi, I am Josh Griffith, and welcome to the Unnamed Sports Show on the Sports Talk Line Network. I got a great show for you today. A little bit of hiccups that I had to deal with, but it's kind of part of the problem and something that I'm going to have to work on the fly with. So today I'm really excited. I just first want to apologize to my two guests that couldn't make it, Manuel Veth and Bryan Oringher, who actually was kind enough to take his time to do an interview about an hour and a half ago, but my recording skills are apparently not good enough yet. So won't be able to use that one today. So I'm going to hopefully get Bryan back on. But today, so I'm excited to have on from the Vancouver Whitecaps assistant coach, Phil De Santos will be joining me. And then I'm going to keep it soccer. We're going to have Marcel De Jong from Pacific FC in the Canadian Premier League. And then from Sports Talk Line, our very own Spinksy is going to join me. We're going to talk a little bit of NCAA, all the new rules, and things that are coming out lately with the NCAA. But in regards to sports, we got tons of things, and we got live sports, real live sports, and not just like soccer or UFC. We got everything coming out. We got NASCAR, everything. So what I want to start off with right now is a little bit of Bundesliga news. We had a great showing this weekend, games on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. FC Augsburg lost to Wolfsburg 2-1. Borussia Dortmund beat Schalke 4-0. One of the matches that I was really looking forward to, obviously, Alphonso Davies for Bayern Munich, and they were able to beat Union Berlin 2-0. And Alphonso Davies looks like he has not missed a beat, as he has made some great recoveries in the game and probably should have had a couple assists. So that was a fantastic showing by the Bundesliga, and it's nice to see that we have some team sports in that kind of can set the basis for other leagues kind of coming back. And one of the leagues that is trying to come back is the NHL, and like the breeze, it is ever changing right now. So instead of having the draft before they're going to play, now they're talking about having the draft after. They're looking maybe down to only one or two hub cities instead of four. Vegas, Edmonton, Columbus, Ohio, kind of the front runners right now. Looking to move the draft back until after in July, after they play things. And they're looking for maybe a 24 player team. There actually should be an announcement coming on later today, as the NHL has put forth a proposal to the NHL Players Association. So we'll see how they take that, and that will all go along. And like I said, it's ever changing. So tomorrow it could be something completely different. So don't hold your breath for the NHL coming back. And so we'll move on to other sports. So I have a great joke about sports, and it's Major League Baseball. I don't know what to do. That's it. I'm not talking about Major League Baseball. Some of the things that they've been talking about. No. Okay. Golf. I'll talk about some golf because golf's back on. We had the Skins game for charity this weekend. And then coming up here, we have the, I don't know even what to call it. It's golf's return. It's the Tiger Tampa Phil Payton Spectacular. So if you are a betting person, go ahead and take the over on how many times they show Giselle in the broadcast, because that would be my go-to right there. It's going to be exciting. I don't know. It's going to make for some sound bites. I'm going to be talking about it next week. That's for sure. I'm sure I'll have some clips and some funny things to talk about that. Another sport, the NBA is looking to move down to Orlando and do everything in a kind of a hub city style thing. And they're kind of taking advantage of everybody talking about the NBA right now, thanks to Michael Jordan's Last Dance documentary that has been airing on ESPN Sunday nights. And then for Canadians like me, we got to wait till Monday on Netflix. There has been some amazing stories brought up in that documentary so far. I mean, I don't know if everybody's enjoying it as much as me, but some of the things, with MJ and the Steve Kerr both losing their fathers, and the Dennis Rodman saga where, he goes off to Vegas one year with Carmen Electra, and another year he's off wrestling with the NWO. I mean, all the things with the ownership and Jerry Reinsdorf and Jerry Krause, rest in peace, who can't really kind of talk about things from his perspective. I was hoping to have, like I said, Bryan to talk about the NBA and the Last Dance a little bit more later on the show. And again, apologies to him and anyone who's looking to tune in to catch him today. But um, hopefully the NBA will start up again soon. It looks like they're gonna try and move into playoffs. They're being very, very quiet, which is not like the NBA. Speaking of other sports, the NASCAR got going on Wednesday in Darlington, and Denny Hamlin came out on top for Toyota with his teammate Kyle Busch coming in second, and Kenny Harvick rounded up the top three. So NASCAR is back in full swing. I wouldn't be surprised to see things like Formula One and, like I said, Supercross is coming back on May 31st. So, those individual sports and the racing ones are going to get back going, and we're going to be able to enjoy those coming up pretty soon. So the MLS is also talking about using Orlando as a hub city for all their teams, which is just great. I mean, if you enjoy great weather in Disneyland, if you don't like being away from your families, it might be a problem. And it's still kind of up in the air. They're just kind of throwing it out there. They're making proposals to players, obviously, from the players' unions, and things have to go back and forth. There is a lot of red tape involved in all of this. Looking maybe a 28-game season, something like that. But what we do know is teams are back training on the pitch right now, which is great to see if you're a soccer fan in North America. So the MLS might be able to use the Bundesliga's blueprint. Going to have assistant coach from the Vancouver Whitecaps, Phil De Santos, joining me in just a couple minutes here, and we're going to talk a little bit about just kind of the things they have to go through regarding procedures coming in and training and precautions that they're taking in regards to having to come back and train. Also talk about the field sections and things that they can actually do right now in regards to training, because it is limited. So I'm excited to have him in a couple minutes here. Another sport that has been going now for the last week and has really taken advantage of sports not being here is the UFC, as they held 3 cards here, one about a week and a half ago on the weekend, one during the week on Wednesday, and then they had one again this weekend. They seem to just be back with testing. I mean, it doesn't sound like things are going as good as they could, but
hey, Josh.
Hey, and so right now I'm actually being joined this is fantastic, by Phil De Santos, the assistant coach for the Vancouver Whitecaps. Hi, Phil. Thank you very much for joining me.
My pleasure, Josh. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you? Are you and your family staying safe and healthy during these times?
We're good. We're good. I think that it's a new reality. We had to adapt to it. The first couple weeks were weird, and now we're just settling in what the reality is for a lot of people. And you're fortunate enough to be with your family and be with your kids. So we're trying to make the most out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely a difficult time. I mean, and it's changing. Like you said, everything's it's kind of, and it's going to be the new normal for I think a little while.
Absolutely.
So we'll have to get used to it. So I just brought up the MLS there, and one of the things that I was talking about is training, and you guys are back underway, in a limited sense. So I was just wondering if you could talk a bit about the various measures that you guys have to go through right now.
Yeah, well, I'm looking at it right now. I'm actually, we have a group coming in to train now, and it's, it's different. It's, there's a lot of rules. There's a lot of guidelines that we have to follow. I look at the amount of people that are working hard to put all of this together and make sure that everything is clean and sanitized, and that players come in and follow the guidelines. And to be honest, it's been very smooth. You look at even the way players have embraced it, and it just it's the second week now, and it's smooth. It's obviously it's not ideal, but I think that they're happy to be out here instead of doing their workouts at home. So yeah, it's the new norm for now, and we're looking forward to getting into the next phase of training for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm glad you brought it about the team and their willingness, because that was actually my next question. I mean, they, everybody seems so willing to get back under, even under these strange precautions, but get back on the pitch and do what they have to do with the safety regulations. I mean, that must have made things a lot easier coming back.
Yeah, it did. You know, you were 2 months in your apartment, yeah, going for runs or uh, working on your aerobic capacity on a bike and Zoom workouts, and you could do that for a period of time, but then it's good to be out. The weather's been fantastic. The pitches are unbelievable, as you know, here at the training facility. So just having the guys being able to from distance interact with the coaching staff, interact with each other, and talk to each other. That's been an important element for motivation to renew and revive things a little bit. And we're at a point where now we're also looking forward to getting into at least small group training sessions and eventually into being able to practice the sport the way it is with the contact and all the tactical components that come with it. Where as coaches we love to be connected with and bring to our team. So, but it's good to see them out there. Like I said, it's been phenomenal weather and just being out here and being able to interact again with people and talk about what the plans and what the future could look like. It makes it look a little bit more real and closer to playing or kicking a ball again in a competitive capacity.
Yeah, I can see the weather is just absolutely gorgeous there behind you. I mean, it's a little bit cloudy on Vancouver Island, but for the most part, we've had some beautiful weather lately. So speaking of beautiful weather, I was down in San Diego this year and getting caught training camp.
Yeah.
Um, and you and Vanni Sartini, the other coach, we're working really closely with Mark DeSantos, your brother, just on the tactical things and the high press this year. And it looked to pay off in the first couple of games. So I just was wondering if you could talk about what the message was coming out of training camp and how, and if you thought that things were a little bit different and better doing the training camp in San Diego this year as opposed to Hawaii.
Well, we wanted to. There's no doubt, and that's something that Mark always brought up about the difference in preseason compared to 2019, but also the time that we had to build a team at the image that relates and is directly linked with the way the coaching staff wanted to play. And um, I think we did bring a more courageous approach. I think that we wanted to be a team that would fans would relate to, a team that's exciting, a team that is not afraid of playing against any opposition, and with that comes certain requirements. And it was highlighted from day one in preseason. It was highlighted from a certain point last season as we progressed and we said, okay, what do we want to be about as a club or as an organization? And we went into preseason with a clear idea of what we needed to be about and a clear idea of the training demands, the mentality, the profile of players we needed to bring. So it was night and day compared to the previous year. We had a lot more time to prepare, a lot more time to plan, and yeah, we started right away in San Diego with that mindset and bringing that mentality to the team. We played some good games there. We set the bar at that point. We created a platform that was one we wanted to grow from. And I think that it followed up when in Portland during the tournament in Portland, or the 3 games that we played there. And we want this to be something that's the DNA of this team. We want it to be sustainable. We know we want this to be something that the players realize that there's no cutting corners. It's all or nothing. This is who we want to be about. And I think that we were able to recreate that or to bring that on the field in LA. Yeah, we're just looking forward to get back into it, because we believe that this group is a group that is capable to sustain that. And I think that if we do, it will be a good season for us, and it's going to be an exciting team to look at and to cheer for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and if you take a look at just, I mean, the first two regular season games, you came out after a tough home loss to Sporting Kansas City, where the team was exciting, but you just ran into a difficult task in LA and Polito. But I mean, just for the squad to come out on the road against a tough LA Galaxy team and show that performance, it just really said a lot about the squad and what you guys have implemented as a coaching staff.
Yeah, of course. When we play that game against Kansas City, especially after what we saw in Portland 1 week earlier or 10 days earlier, we always looked for a response, because obviously there were a lot of factors. There's a big emotional load that comes with that first game, a lot of new players. There were so many things building up into that game. And after talking with the players after that game against Kansas City, everyone felt, look, this is not us. We clearly underperformed. They couldn't find their legs. They were all upset. So for us as a staff is, okay, we're not going to change what we've been doing. This is who we are. This is who we want to be about. So we gave the players, the responsibility in a certain way to show us that it was that one off, that it was this element of the first game, and that maybe the emotional load had something to do with it. And I think that we got the response that we wanted, and that the players came out strong, and they played a very mature game in LA. It was meant to be a one-man show, as a lot of people in media made it sound, with Chicharito and the amount of fans and the environment that we found in LA. And it really looked like we'd been playing not with the youngest, or potentially one of the youngest groups in the league, but a very mature team who went into that type of environment and wasn't afraid. Didn't care about all the buzz around the game. They just cared about proving everyone that first game was just a difficult game, like we might have some, and every team has some in the season. And for us, it happened that it was the first one, and hopefully we'll see a lot more of the team that played in LA during the season. And we hope that there's it's a good base for us to keep progressing, and there's a lot of work to do still.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I was at that first game. Like you said, you talked about the environment a bit. It was an unbelievable experience. And just, from everything from the squad traveling in on the bus, and just the amount of fans and the environment, like it was, yeah, like it almost kind of was set up for a letdown. But, it was great to see the team come back strong in LA.
I don't like to, because the setup was and everything around it was like the amount of fans that received us. Like these are things we can't complain about, right? These are things that we have to be happy about, and we don't make excuses in regards to that. But players are still human beings, and there's things that when we play at home, we're gonna have to learn to deal with. And this is the added pressure, or the hype and everything that comes around the home game. We have to use those nerves in a positive way and channel them in the right way, to use that as a catalyst element, something that's gonna just make us be better and embrace the home games in a better way, and not be afraid of it. And I think that's something that we have to work with the group and make sure that you know what, it's there's no better thing than playing a home game and winning these home games. That's for sure. That's something we want to do this season.
And I mean, I'm sure you can see I'll be pretty excited when, we're able to come back for these home games and stuff
I'm
too.
sure you will. I'm sure you will.
So just, kind of lighten it up a bit and a little fun question. One of the things I like to ask everybody, for the last couple months, how were you able to pass the time? Did you pick up any interesting hobbies or anything like that? Or
I took my guitar back out. I think it had been a long time since I'd taken it out. It was still in its box. I had to tune it up again, and I committed to teach my 4-year-old Portuguese. So my wife's been hammering me for a long time for not speaking enough Portuguese with him. So now we're at a point that he asks for his Portuguese lessons. He's throwing words. So there's been things that we do. I have an 8-month-old, a 9-month-old daughter now, and she was born last season during the season. So there's so much time that you could give to the family when you're in this business. So it's been good to see her grow finally, and be there to wake up and see her go for a nap, see her start crawling, see her start eating solid food. So it's been good in that sense for sure. So we're busy. We're busy. When you have young kids, it never ends. I finish my day more tired than when I'm actually here on a daily basis.
Oh, I bet. Yes. Yeah. They can be an absolute handful,
They
but
are.
just a joy. And that's one of the benefits actually right now that I'm taking away from this time is just
Uh,
being able to spend the time with family.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for
It's
taking
a,
the time to join me today, Phil.
it's a pleasure, Josh. It's a pleasure anytime. Okay.
Okay, thank you. So that's Phil De Santos from the Vancouver Whitecaps, assistant coach. All right. So I want to thank again Phil for joining me. Talked a little bit of everything MLS and just the guys getting back on the pitch. Exciting for him. And now I'm actually going to keep it going soccer, but I'm going to switch it to the Canadian Premier League. And now I'm being joined by Marcel De Jong from Pacific FC down in Victoria. Marcel, how are you? Thank you for
I'm
joining
good.
me.
I'm good. Thanks. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you? Are you staying safe? You and your family doing good?
Yeah, so far it's all good actually. I mean, I haven't really over the years had this long of a time to spend with my family, so that's extra nice, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I just ended with Phil talking about that. How one of the things that I've been enjoying about this is just the added family time and things you can take away from it with your friends and stuff. So, I mean, I know you have a young elementary school age daughter. Are you the one doing the homeschooling duties, or?
Yeah, kinda. I mean, I still think I am doing a good job. It's not easy. I respect the teachers a lot more now. So that's something I've noticed. I mean, it's not easy to keep the kids focused. I'm already struggling with one kid keeping her focused, but no, it's good. And but I'm doing lots of stuff with her, like twice or 3 times a week. She has online school with her classmates, so that's good. Yeah, I heard they're going back to school maybe end of the month. Yeah, so that's obviously a relief.
Yeah.
Can't wait for that. So no, it's good.
No, it should be good. And then, I mean, speaking of good, we actually have live football back now with the K League, and then Bundesliga resuming play this week. So did you watch any of it at all?
No, to be honest, didn't watch. Obviously, I watched the highlights and all that. I do, but I didn't really watch it live. But yeah, what I did notice is obviously the no fans, so that's kind of sad. I mean, obviously the game without soccer, soccer without fans is obviously not the same because obviously the fans, they make the atmosphere and they get you that little extra push in the last 10, 15 minutes, whatever. So it was kind of sad to see, but hopefully that will change soon.
Yeah, I mean, actually, that you mentioned that just that little push. I mean, is that something that like the fans do kind of give you that extra little boost at the times, when you're in your home squad or when you're on away and you get those, the boos coming at you. I mean, that actually gives you that little extra push, eh?
Yeah, for sure, definitely. I mean, just an example, if you have to take a corner, or for example, and you rile up the fans, or come on guys, and they get behind you and they start screaming, and it just gives a little extra motivation, and they get a little extra energy. even the defending when they start shouting at the opponent, like get out of here, whatever, and all that. So it's it goes into your mind, and it's like, there's nothing that's going to help, nothing going to pass us. They're not going to score, or we're going to score. So it's that little extra that the fans give us. So yeah.
So you hear that, fans? Make sure that you're yelling and screaming as loud as you can when you come out, because it actually does something.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I mean, speaking of the Bundesliga, you spent 6 seasons with FC Augsburg and made 41 appearances in the first German division. What was your experiences like with the league, the style of play and just the culture in general?
It was obviously my best time there. It was just amazing. Obviously, a dream come true to play in one of the highest leagues in Europe. And I was at first, obviously, when you grow up in Holland, you don't think about going to Germany, going to the enemies. But surprisingly, it turned out to be the best 5 years of our lives in my career. And I got married there. My daughter was born there. So it's overall was just really, really, really good experience. And soccer wise, it's just amazing. Stadiums are always full. Just the professionalism was better. Better. It was really, really high, and it was really there. And even training mentality, like if you screw up one training session, you might be on the bench on the weekend. So there was always that, that fighting competitive during trainings, and obviously, bonuses and all the money. Obviously, all those things play a part. Like you want to perform, you have to perform, and there was lots of pressure on you, and because obviously you have a family you want to take care of. So it's a lot of stuff that comes with the territory. But no, it's really, really, really amazing how they have soccer over there. Obviously, it's a religion over there. Everybody plays soccer when you grow up. Here you got hockey, you got basketball, American football, all those sports, and then soccer. So there is just soccer. Everybody plays soccer. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things I can take definitely from doing some of these interviews lately is I talked to a Canadian sprinter who grew up in Jamaica, and he said it was either you grab some running cleats, or you grab a cricket racket, or you play soccer. That was it. Like you only had 3 choices, and you had to pick one of them.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So, I mean, so you made the move to Pacific FC in February of last year, which was a very big signing for the Canadian Premier League.
Mm-hmm.
You were held out but all of 2 appearances, and then this year, obviously, I mean, this year,
yeah,
you must be just absolutely motivated to get back out there and get on the pitch in some sort of competitive fashion.
Yeah, of course. I mean, obviously, I was happy with the move to Pacific FC, and I still am, but still happy with the move. But obviously, second training session in the season, I ruptured my Achilles, so season over. So that's that. So obviously, I tried to come back, had a really fast recovery, but even though I wasn't really 100% fit, but I just wanted to be out there once or twice during the season, just for the fans and just for myself, that I proved it. I came back, I'm good, I'm healthy, and so I can just move on into the off season healthy instead of still rehabbing and all that. So that was a big motivator for me. So obviously now with this season, it's kind of all blank.
Yeah.
It's just it sucks, obviously. So that is something we have to deal with. But obviously, there are more important things than soccer, obviously. But it hurts. This is my job, so this is all I know. I mean, but we'll get there. And but yeah, obviously we keep ourselves in good shape for when the green light comes, and we'll be ready.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I'm knowing the Pacific FC fans like I do. I mean, here on the island, just up in Nanaimo. So they were pretty excited about things and excited about, this season and what it had in store for you guys. So, I know, what was I going to say here? I was just going to coming more along with the lines of the team, like what are you guys doing all right now, just for training to stay in shape? Or have you guys been doing this online Zoom meetings together for training or individual workouts? Like how's the team been doing and keeping up during these times?
Yeah, so we do a lot of Zoom meetings. Obviously, we got one of our in the club. We have like Pilates and we have like yoga. We got a great fitness trainer who sends out every night emails like training programs for the next day. So he keeps us really busy. Obviously, all the fields and all the parks are closed, so you have to be a little bit, you know, yeah, to search for the right place to train. But it's okay. We keep ourselves busy. Do a lot of team meetings, a lot of unit works, the defenders together, midfielders together, and the whole team together. So we do. I mean, we watch the games, we analyze games. Yeah. So the coach and the staff, they keep us busy. So it's not like we're having a holiday, or whatever, right? So we're always every day there's something. It's either a yoga or it's either workout on your own, or it's a team meeting, or both. So it's been good actually. So yeah, I can't complain.
Well, it sounds like they're doing a good job in keeping everybody fit and motivated and ready to go when everything does get back underway. And
Yeah.
I mean, speaking of that, the Canadian Premier League has kind of also thrown out a couple hub city ideas. Is that something that you would consider doing? Maybe going to a hub city for a couple months and finishing off the season?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, soccer that's what we're getting paid for, and we love to do. So if they tell us we have to go in the city, I'm not saying I'm happy about it, but I mean, it's all right. I mean, at the end of the day, it's about the league and about playing and getting out there again. Yeah, am I happy to have to leave my family for 2 or 3 months? No, but they get it. It's not easy, but hopefully, the league will talk to us or about it, or like maybe propose it to us. That would be nice instead of just putting it out there. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully we can get some more, a little bit more dialogue between the league and the players when it comes to that one, because I mean it is a big one, and I think it's something that kind of all leagues are facing right now, and it's kind of uncharted territories.
Yeah, for sure.
So for anyone who is familiar with the Canadian men's national team, you've been a big part of that for years and years. You made 56 caps with the team. I just wanted to if you could talk about your experience with them and what was your favorite moment with the Canadian men's national team.
Favorite moment? Not really sure. I mean, so many. I think just being out there with the team and traveling, and even though sometimes, for example, we had a result or we had a really big game where we the Honduras game, for example, where we had the big loss. I won't say the numbers, but yeah. So, but for example, those if you think back on it, like being in the hotel and the fans outside of the hotel, like the day before the game, like motorcycles, cars are loud and honking and revving the engine really loud till like 3 a.m. in the morning. Those things, like back then it wasn't really nice, but when you look back on it, like wow, this was pretty intense. That culture when you see those fans, have the passion to try and destroy our minds and disrupt our game day, whatever. So yeah, that was pretty cool to experience, even though it wasn't really nice back then. But yeah, but no, just being out there with the players and traveling and going to all those countries, that's something that nobody can take away again.
Did you ever get the fire alarm pulled in your hotel?
No, we did have a couple of games where no, probably we did. Probably, I can't even remember. I mean, so many trips.
Because I know that's a popular one that they like to do.
Yeah, I know. Like, guys had food poisoning before the game, and so those kind of things. And yeah, but just like going on to walk on the field in that tunnel. When you go on the field and the game's about to begin.
I don't, but
yeah, no, yeah, no, but just when the walk onto the field right before kickoff, like guys or fans throwing all those stuff on you and spitting and swearing and trying to hit you, like you're in for a fight, and when that final whistle comes, regardless of the result, you need to get out of there as fast as possible. So those are also things, like that's pretty cool to experience.
What was your favorite place to play? Like country wise, or just city or stadium even?
I mean, the coolest stadium, the national team, was probably the Azteca Stadium in Mexico. Yes. That was pretty cool, and with those fans there, it's just and the altitude is just crazy,
and then it's waves. It's not even just the stadium; it's waves and waves beyond the stadium.
Yeah, it's crazy, and then you just the bus ride to the stadium, like the last couple hundred meters, the fans are slapping and they're hitting the bus, and and then you hear them. You can see, you don't even speak Spanish, but they're cursing you so bad. Not even there to support you, just they're letting you know you guys are in for a fight, and those are the moments stick by me.
Such a cool experience.
Yeah.
Well, I was just wondering too. I'm with Marcel De Jong from Pacific FC in the Canadian Premier League, and I was just wondering about I talked about your Team Canada experience. What's been your best overall soccer experience, you would say, if you could pick just one? Because it sounds like you got tons and tons of great memories.
Yeah, the first one I experienced was obviously with in Ausburg when we promoted from the second league to the first league. In my first year, we got promoted, and I was playing every game, was good, and then the last game we got promoted. This never happened in the history of the club, so that was amazing. But then the year after, staying in that league again, staying in the first league, it was even more, even amazing, more amazing. So that was also those two moments are the biggest achievements.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
She's like, I can't even imagine. I mean, just if people, so for some of the people who might not be, so big into football, and especially European football, that the whole relegation thing is so fascinating. And yeah, like you said, just the second year to not be relegated, to stay in that first tier.
Yeah. And it's really, really, really amazing. And they're still in the Bundesliga, still haven't relegated.
Yes.
So there's been now for 9-10 years now in the Bundesliga. So it's amazing. And so that's obviously playing against Robin and Ribéry and all those big names. It's just an amazing experience. And playing in the Bayern Munich Stadium or in Dortmund, the yellow wall, 30,000 fans just behind the net. It's just an unbelievable experience, and you see Marco Reus or Ribéry going at me as a left back. You kind of shit your pants a little bit. You're kind of scared. But it's especially in away games. But it's a fun experience, and it was good. It was nice.
Gee, who's the most I guess I can't use we can only throw out a couple SHIT words. So, who is the player that made you ish your pants the most? You would say.
Yeah, I don't know. It's probably Robin, just because I grew up in Holland, and
yes.
As a kid, he played for PSV, and I went in the youth academy of PSV, and so I was always there on the weekends, as a kid watching him and play, and so those things, you idolize him, and then it makes it a little bit more, more scarier than when you play against him in real life. And but yeah, probably Robin.
Yes, yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I just wanted to ask you, because we've had some time off, and obviously you've been busy with your family and things like that. But have you, have you picked up any interesting, hobbies or new talents or anything like that? Maybe binge watching something.
No, not really. I mean, actually, last year when I was injured, after a while, when I could slowly start walking, I I made my own dog house, so that was pretty cool, and that was actually pretty fun. And I can't believe like I actually finished it, but it was pretty cool. So, but not really, not now anything. Just trying to stay busy. Yeah, like I said, lots of Zoom meetings and lots of training. So we're staying busy, and yeah, but I love my Netflix. So yeah,
Yes, yeah, as do most of us. So,
yeah.
Marcel, thank you very much for joining me.
No worries. Thanks for having me. It's fun.
Yeah, absolutely. That was great talking. And I mean, I got a little bit off topic from the questions I sent you, but
All right.
you were great to talk to, and I'm sure everybody would love to hear your experiences and stuff. And people on Vancouver Island, get down and see Pacific FC when you can, when they're back on, because it's a great atmosphere down
West Hills.
at West Hills. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna call it that. I'm sorry, I was gonna call it the Hydro Pole Stadium, but
Yeah. Yeah, they need to get rid of that thing.
yes, they do.
Yeah.
And they are, aren't they? Are they not getting rid of it at some point?
Probably at some point, but it's
Oh,
money issues, and
yeah,
it's expensive. So
and power issues.
yeah, who
Well,
needs power?
yes, yeah, that is kind of important. So, well, Marcel, thank you very much for joining me, and have a great day.
Thanks, you all. Thanks. Take care.
Cheers. Okay, so that was Marcel De Jong from Pacific FC down in Victoria, BC, from the Canadian Premier League. Lee, you're going really fast on my guess there. You need to give me like a minute and a half transition time next time. Okay, thank you, sweetheart. Love you. You're the best. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the Canadian Premier League for anybody who isn't familiar with it. Last year was the first year that the Canadian Premier League started, and it's teams, based out just primarily in Canada, and a lot of their players, they have a focus on being Canadian nationals. So it's kind of a league that's a stepping stone for for younger players. Marcel's obviously at the later end of his career, why he was such a big signing for the team, and he's a very prominent player, as you can tell by his caps for Canada and time in FC Augsburg, and he also played with the Eredivisie in Roda JC for 4 years. So the man has a very tenured resume. But it's a very good stepping stone league, and people need to check that out if they haven't. It's all across Canada. There's teams in York, there's teams in Hamilton, there's Winnipeg has a team, Edmonton has a team. So check that out. So moving things right along, I'm gonna have another guest join me in a couple minutes. Lee, a couple minutes. Oh, no, he's just gonna bring him right on. See, he did that for spite, but I love it. That's okay, because I don't mind talking to my next guest, and I will talk to him about absolutely anything. So he can join me. And right now I have Spinksy NFL on from Sports Talkline. Spinksy, thank you very much for joining me.
G'day, mate.
How are you?
I'm doing good, mate. It's 8:45 on a Friday morning over here. It's a beautiful day outside, mate. It's a great place to be.
Yeah, everybody's background seemed to be just lit up with sunshine, and me, I'm pumping my fake lighting while I'm looking outside at a very gloomy day.
That sucks.
Well, what are you gonna do, right? I mean, I'm inside here doing something that I love anyway, so I have no problems with it.
That's exactly right. Yes.
So I haven't talked to you in about a week here, because I've just been so busy with everything. I missed out on some of I caught your show last weekend, but missed out on some of the roundtables and the dark side of sports and all that stuff. How have you been?
Good, mate. Good. Yeah, we've been doing a few shows during the week. We had the round table on Wednesday, and we had Nate's Dark Side of Sport on Thursday. So we got to talk about some doping in sport and some very huge athletes that shouldn't be the size that they actually are. So that was fun. Yeah.
Did you mention Barry Bonds at all? Going from the tiniest little thing to gigantic.
Yeah, we spoke about steroids in sport on the show, I think, last week. And the fact that I don't mind it. I think Barry might have been a bit tainted throughout the years, but he was probably going to hit the home run record anyway. So I think the fact that he went on and took the steroids probably wasn't his finest moment, but if he wants to do that, go right ahead. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, and I mean, and then one of the other things with that era, they don't call it the steroid era of baseball for nothing, right? I mean, he was hitting home runs off the guys that were throwing pitches, and they were on steroids.
Yeah, it's exactly right, man. Yes.
So one of the things that I wanted to bring you on to talk about here was the latest NCAA announcements, because we got some big news coming out of NCAA, and I know you're going to be covering it super in depth on your show coming up here on Sunday in Australia and Saturday in North America. So you make sure to check that out on our YouTube channel. But if you could just give kind of people, kind of a little rundown of it, obviously not that they'll have to tune into your show to get the full taste, but just a little kind of what we have to deal with right now.
A little teaser, yeah. I sat down to write an article about 24 hours ago on certain schools allowing their students to come back, and I wrote this huge article, and then a tweet was sent out saying, as of June 1st, the NCAA has voted to allow all schools to return. So my huge article was just useless. So that was great fun. Yeah. So the latest talk is the NCAA will allow students to return to campuses for voluntary training from the 1st of June. So that's in about 10 days or so now. What it means is it's only for footballers and basketballers because obviously they make the most money. So the NCAA is obviously looking after themselves with this one, which they always do. It means, money. It means 8 hours of voluntary camp each week. So that's 2 hours on the field and 6 hours in the gym. That is it. So it's a big step in the right direction at the moment. So it looks like that'll be the way we go with it. Hopefully more comes out each day. This is sort of a evolving process. So hopefully we'll see a lot more soon. But this is good for us having a normal season starting again at the end of August, which would be fantastic.
Yeah, it looks like it could be good. I mean, like you said, those are the money makers, so it doesn't surprise me that those are the ones they're trying to focus on quickly. Obviously, things are going to probably come down to state by state health regulations when it comes to a lot of the schools. Is that going to be something that the NCAA is going to have to deal with?
Yeah, and I find it difficult. The first game of the season was supposed to be Notre Dame and Navy over in Ireland. So I can't see that one going ahead as yet. Obviously, certain countries are still in the grips of this. So I can't see that working as such. And other schools which don't have a lot of money who are going to have to necessarily travel a lot more, they probably wouldn't be allowed to go through the entire season as they would normally if they can't be sort of getting funding and stuff like that. So it'll come down to a state-by-state basis, really. And I think the more money that you have, the more power you're going to have, which is going to help. So teams in the SEC, I think, will probably – it's hard to gauge. I will sort of talk about it more on Sunday, but if you keep your in-conference games or you spread it out and have a full season, I don't know. Over in the US, you guys don't seem to want to stay home. You seem to want to go out and do your own thing. So it's better if you stay home because over here in Australia, we stay at home and our sport is back from Thursday next week. So good.
So,
stay
yes,
home,
and then next week I'll be able to talk about the AFL. We will have all the football going back on, rugby going back on. Is Australian cricket coming back on?
Not till the summer, so it'll probably won't come back until on November, let's say, over here. So soon, yeah, we'll get it. It's good.
We'll get it. It'll probably be back before some of the other sports anyway. So obviously, Nate's not going to give you all, or sorry, Spinksy's not going to give you all of the, the details. He's going to make you tune into his show on Saturday, and you're going to be able to check the link. It'll be down there, and I'll make sure I tweet it out and all this stuff. So. Thank you very much for joining me because, you were a last call guy as I screwed up. Again, apologize to Bryan Oringher. I screwed up with his interview and Lee told me that I could not use it because it was not good enough and he was not going to make Bryan look bad.
That's unfortunate, man.
Yes.
That sucks.
But hey, you know what? It's nature of the business. So, sometimes you got to move on the fly. So again, now, thanks for joining me and talking a little bit of NCAA. And you let everybody know when they can find your show and what you're going to be talking about this week.
You can follow me on Twitter at Spinksy NFL. I'm on Twitter and Instagram. Our show is the College Football Show with Spinksy and Nate. It is 3 p.m. Pacific time on Saturday or 8 a.m. Australian time on Sunday morning. This week, we'll be talking about the NCAA allowing kids back into school. we were talking about my Gundy's rant back in April and how that affected schools going back now. And then the other one was I found a top 20 list of most of the best football colleges over the last 150 years, and that list shocked me. So I want to touch base on a few of those teams which were really good and really ordinary back in the day. So, yeah, 3 p.m. Saturday afternoon. Check it out.
Absolutely. And I like how he gave us the North American time and the Australian time. Because if you people noticed, we are worldwide at Sports Talk Line. So I'm up in Canada. He's over in Australia. We got people down in LA. We got people in New York. We got another little young Padawan in Australia too, who's learning the ropes, and we'll eventually get him to come on camera.
Yeah, we'll get him on. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, one day. So make sure you tune into that on Saturday at 3 p.m. So Spinksy, thank you very much for joining me, and I hope you have yourself a great day.
Hey, you too. Thanks,
Cheers.
mate. I'm out. See ya.
Okay, I pulled my headphone out there. Okay. Well, thank you very much for Spinksy for joining me. And again, apologies. I know this is probably about the 4th or 5th time, Brian. I'll get in touch with you a little bit later. And hopefully we can set something up where I properly record it. So, yeah, it's we got lots of sports coming back, as you can see. Bundesliga's back. We're going to have some more games this week. Players associations and the leagues are a big focus, and we're going to be hearing more about that as things come up with sports trying to get back on. It's a difficult time that we're in right now, and people, like Spinksy said, you need to stay at home if you can. Things are going to get back to normal eventually. We're all going to get back to playing sports, the ones we love, to watching the sports that we love. But, it's not right now. So just as things go, just take your time, relax, listen to whatever health organization, that country you live in, do the things you're supposed to do, wash your hands, social distance, all that stuff, do your Zoom meetings. I would have much rather drove down to Victoria and done a live interview with Marcel De Jong, because the guy is absolutely fascinating, and I would definitely have him on again. But it's not something you're doing right now. So just stay at home, and that's it. So I want to thank everybody for joining me this week. Like I said, we had a little bit of a hiccup with a couple things and had to switch things on the fly. But Phil Santos from the Vancouver Whitecaps assistant coach was nice enough to join me. And then I had Marcel De Jong from Pacific FC. And I finished up the show with Spinksy from Sports Talk Line to talk about NCAA and his show. So, you can make sure to follow me on Twitter at Joshua Griffith 0. Make sure to like and subscribe down at the bottom. You subscribe, you get the notifications, all that. Subscribe to our Patreon, contribute to that. It just helps us provide you with more content, behind the scenes stuff. When I go off air and I'm yelling at Lee, my producer, about keep feeding me my guests one after another, which you guys can't see, but he's apologized to me in the chat. So it's all good. Like I said, he's in my ear. He takes care of me. So, and all those flashy images that you guys are seeing, that's him doing that right there. So make sure to tune into Sports Talk Line. Check out the website. I'll have articles about all this in case you missed it, with all my interviews. And we'll have lots of stuff. Spinksy's got stuff coming out. Rado's been breaking down Bundesliga. If you need to find your Bundesliga team, he's got a great article out right now that you can go through and literally track if you like winning, if you are greedy, if you are a terrible corporation. If none of it matters, then I guess you're FC Cologne or something like that. And if you like winning, then you just go right down to Bayern Munich. So next week I have a couple guests lined up, but obviously I'm not going to tell you them right now, because then I wouldn't have the chance to throw out some kind of weird teaser in the coming days. Also working with my roommate who does music, and he's going to do a fancy little music clip for me that hopefully I can use at the beginning of the show. Kind of fancy it up and movie magic and all that jazz. So For the Sports Talkline Network, this has been the Unnamed Sports Show. I'm Joshua Griffith, and as always, love sports, all sports. Thanks for joining me.